Thank you very much, and thank you for accepting our invitation to be here. The Archdiocese of St. Louis recognizes and appreciates the important role of media in our local community. As shepherd of the Archdiocese, I wish to thank all of you, our local communicators, as the work that you do inspires the people of our community for change in response to significant issues which face us as a society, as a nation, and as a world. This award recognizes an individual of integrity in the communication profession. It could be from media or business, academic, or the wider community. But that individual must exemplify Catholic values and Christian ethics, one who has demonstrated excellence and has made a lasting impact, is acknowledged as one of the best in the field, and has demonstrated a commitment to the broader cause of media effectiveness and excellence. This afternoon, we gather in a special way to honor and affirm the work of Fred Bodimer for his years of coverage of the Catholic Church throughout our community on KMOX. Over the last 3 decades at KMOX, Fred has had the opportunity to interview many of the world's religious leaders, including the Reverend Dr. Billy Graham, the Dalai Lama, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and out of desperation, every once in a while, me. He's been married to his wife, Marie, for 21 years. They have 2 sons, Shane and Noah. He's also served as the president, as an elder for 25 years of our Redeemer Lutheran Church in South St. Louis. It is my great pleasure to present the 2017 Excellence in Communication Award to Mr. Fred Bodimer.
Thank you all for that applause. I brought some notes just to keep me on track here so I don't start telling stories and get too far over my allotted 5 minutes of speech. Thank you, Archbishop Carlson, for those kind words and for this award. I'm honored to have been chosen and humbled to stand here before all of you to accept this award for just doing my job. A special thanks as well to the Archdiocesan Communications Advisory Board. Thank you to all of you for nominating me and then choosing me as your recipient. And also would like to thank some of the past recipients that are here. Tom Cavanaugh, the Holmans, thank you for coming and spending time to help me experience this award. Thank you for coming. I'd also like to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy day to come here today. I know it's a lot to get out of work and come here. The meal helps a lot. but thanks a lot for coming and listening to this. Special thanks to my family who are here. My mom is here and 2 of my sisters. My wife Marie and my 2 sons, Shane and Noah, couldn't make it. So I'm sorry they're not here, but I'm very grateful to them for all the support that they've given me over the years. And thanks also to my family. I have a lot of co-workers here from KMOX. The Archbishop asked me who's running the station while we're all here. We've got Peggy Cohill here who produces Charlie Brennan Show. Chris Myhill produces Total Information AM. Steve Moore, our program director, is here. Dominic Lampisi, one of our best salespeople, came by. And am I forgetting someone from KMOX? Carol Daniel. And Carol Daniel, who's sitting right next to me. Thank you for coming. I told the Archbishop, well, if we're not here, the station's probably being run by Rush Limbaugh. So, good or bad, that's where things stand. So thank you to everyone for coming. I started at KMOX in 1982. That's more than 34 years ago. And as I was trying to tell the Archbishop, and he already knew this, in 1982, the Archbishop was a priest in the St. Paul, Minneapolis diocese, Archdiocese. And he wasn't named auxiliary bishop there until the next year. So you're celebrating your 33rd anniversary as a bishop. So congratulations to you for that. So how did I get to be the religion editor of KMOX Radio? Kind of out of an act of desperation. In 1984, CBS in New York decided to cancel a show called The World of Religion, which was a syndicated half-hour religion show. And Robert Hyland, then the general manager of KMOX, said, we can't do that, we got to keep the show going. So right away I volunteered, because my first 2 years, from 82 to 84 at KMOX, I had this really awful shift, part-time work. I would get there Friday afternoon at 3 in the afternoon, and I'd work till through the morning, up through the afternoon to like around noon on Saturday. So I had like a 20-hour shift. So I just said, I can do it. I had 2 classes in religion in college. And that put me at the top of the list. So bam, I was in. I got the job, I went full time, so I've been doing it ever since. And I don't think there is another religion editor in radio. Not that I know of. So I'm very grateful for that. That shift was so long, I bring 2 lunches. That's how bad it was. So, as the Archbishop mentioned, over the past 3 decades, I covered a lot of religion stories, a lot of big names, and including Mother Teresa's visit in 1988, and the Pope's visit here in 1999. And I also reported on, I guess, since 84, there have been, I think, 14 priests of the Archdiocese that have been gone on to be elevated to bishops and archbishops and cardinals. So that's quite an honor for the Archdiocese. And it's been a joy to cover all of them and talk with them the day of the announcement, hear the excitement in their voice, and hear all of them say, every one of them say how they're going to miss St. Louis. I've also worked with a lot of the Archdiocese communication staff over that time, and every one of them has been great. They've always given me what I need on time, and so I'm very appreciative to everything that the communication staff does at the Archdiocese, including Gabe right now. So thank you very much for that. It sounds glamorous to interview some of these people, but there's stories behind it. And like when the Dalai Lama was here in 1993, I had to go to the hotel where he was staying. And he was, I don't know how they did it, but they found like a throne. And he was sitting at this throne, and so I had to interview him. And I mean, I didn't want to do this the whole time, so I knelt down and squatted for like 10 or 15 minutes and did my interview with him. He was great, he laughs at everything you would say. I didn't know if there was a translation problem or what. But he was very jovial, and he laughed. And then when it was over, I couldn't get up because my legs fell. So that was a scary moment. So I thought I learned from that. So in 1999, when Billy Graham came to the Trans World Dome, I interviewed him in person, and he was brought up on a cart, because even then he was a bit frail, starting to get frail. And he sat down in a chair, and right away I thought, oh no, I'm gonna have to squat again. So I said, how about we sit on this couch? So we sat on the couch, side by side, but I was so paranoid that my tape recorder would run out of batteries that I brought 2 tape recorders and 2 microphones, so I'd have a backup in case something went wrong. Because you don't want to go back to the station with nothing if you just interviewed Billy Graham. So I was really nervous. So I get back to the station and I listen to the tape, and there's this weird clinking noise through the interview. And I realized it was my hand shaking as I held 2 microphones together. So the mics were hitting each other through the whole interview. So I had to get an engineer to pot that sort of sound down so you couldn't hear it in the interview. So that was saved, but I almost messed it up by being too careful. I guess final story would be one of the favorite people I've had to interview is New York Cardinal Timothy Dolan. And I think he's one of everybody's favorite people to interview because he is so jovial. But I started interviewing him back in the 90s when I guess he was a deacon he was the rector of the North American Pontifical Seminary in Rome. So we do phone interviews all the time. He kind of became like my correspondent, my Vatican correspondent. I'd call him whenever Pope John Paul II would do something. I'd call him and get his take on it and everything. And he was willing to talk about anything and everything, all the time. But because the time difference was like plus 7 hours, every time I'd call, he'd be at dinner. I didn't really realize then that he really enjoyed eating. So whenever I do the interview, he'd tell me everything I need plus what he had to eat that day. Wow, this is great. This is great. So I'm glad that he's back here in the States now. I think I should go ahead and wrap it up. I think I hit my 5 minutes. I'm so grateful for this award. Archbishop Carlson, grateful for you for having this award. You know, a lot of times, reporters do stories that just go out into the airwaves and you don't get reaction. So I'm grateful to hear feedback from you, and I'm sure all the reporters are that have been given this award, that you're listening, that the Archdiocese Communications Board is listening, and that you appreciate what we do. And while all the stories that I do at least may not be favorable to the Archdiocese, at least I hope they're fair. And I know that's how the staff at the Archdiocese has always treated me, in the most fair way possible. So thank you again, Archbishop, for this. And thank you to all of you for coming today. I really do appreciate it.